Okay, now let's talk about things that we can put on here.
Yes.
I might leave
We don't
that
want
in
to
to
be.
start.
We don't want to be that divisive.
I just don't want to be added to any lists, Ashley.
Oh,
I am already
I'm
on a
on
few.
so many.
That's what I'm saying.
I think about the guy that has to keep an eye on me and my internet usage, and how he must think that like sometimes I'm like a creepy incel guy, and then he's like, no, she just researches mass shootings. She's a top fan of Sesame Street.
Oh no.
It's so strange.
I'm sorry.
Oh, am I back?
No, yeah, you're back now. It is
Okay.
absolutely it is the storm.
I'm
think
fine.
I genuinely
listen
felt
to
like
that
there used to
thunder.
be man, it's real loud right now, yeah.
Holy shit.
Okay. Well, it's gonna act like it's fine now. It was a dark night.
It was a
was
dark
a
and
stormy
stormy night.
Ashley, I am so excited and thankful that in a few weeks' time, we're going to do a special episode about the life of Anne Rice, particularly like as it regards her writing periods.
Yes.
Because this is
this book,
such
we
a
need
weird
an
ass book
explanation.
that we're talking about. Yes, friends, we've got to dig into some things about where this originated from and why for she did this. We're going to be talking about it. It's a book club night, folks. We're wrapping up Blood Canticle.
We're putting this bitch to bed is what we're doing. Y'all, this book. And okay, fuck off, because somewhere in the comments when we started talking about this book, okay, somebody said, and maybe I read it wrong, something about Marius and Pandora being in this book at some point. And so I was like, I've been reading this waiting for them to fucking show up, and then it was just this book. Ew.
I don't even know how much Marius shows up quite a bit in the next trilogy. I don't know off the top of my head. I can't remember how much Pandora does. But yeah, I think if they were talking about this one, they must have had it confused.
You've pixelated again.
Boo. All right. We might have to pack it in and wait then.
Yeah, well, let's just, how long is this storm supposed to be storming?
That is a good question. Here, let me stop the recording for one thing. Welcome to the Articulate Coven, the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal universe, the Vampire Chronicles, Lives of the Mayfair Witches, and the Immortal Universe TV series from AMC and AMC+. The Articulate Coven is Ashley and Joel, but it's supported by listeners just like you. Find out more at articulatecoven.com/join. Ashley, have you ever had a storm so stormy that we needed a sleep and showers and a wardrobe change before we reconvened?
What's really funny is I'm pretty sure I'm wearing the same t-shirt. And it's not because I'm a filthy person. It's because I'm wearing my pajamas again.
Okay, well, since you've said that, I'll own this. I was wearing the same shirt until 10 minutes ago, and I said, nope, got to change the shirt. It's a different day, Joel. I work from home. So, y'all, my wardrobe.
Look, listen, when I get home from work, immediately, soft pants come on. And I put my bra back on for this. So that just shows how much I respect everyone.
I put my bra back on for this is probably a pretty good title for the episode.
Well, considering how much the book sucks, it probably is a good title for this.
We have hinted at it already in our preamble from last night, but we are going to be discussing the final parts of Blood Canticle.
Yeah.
I would argue, and I mean, maybe the fandom will tell me different, but from the sense that I've gotten from our audience, at least, this is the most controversial book of the entire series.
Yeah.
Or the least liked book, I say.
Yeah.
There are some that'll make a good argument for Realms of Atlantis, even though that's another one that a lot of people don't like. Memnoch the Devil, a lot of people don't like it.
But
there are
I think
a lot that it's one of their favorites.
People don't like those for like it's not their like vibe, I think, is kind of how I feel. This book is just not a great book.
It's not a good book.
It's just nothing really, very little happens in this. Very fucking little happens in this entire book.
And genuinely, almost nothing of consequence in the ongoing series. That's the real kicker.
And it's supposed to be the end? This is supposed to be where we end it?
Yeah, what a disappointing conclusion this would have been if this was all we ever got.
God, can you imagine? This is why I am now further fully convinced that this is the fucking book that Esta read. Like, this has got to be it. All of our Mayfair witch problems are because this is the only fucking book they read.
I mean, this is the Rowan that she's written. There's no doubt about that.
This is the Rowan she's written. This is the Julian that we see.
You know what? You're sort of right. He's just bitchy and controlling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's none of the pansexual Wiccan goddess that we see in the earlier books. You're right. You're absolutely right, Ashley.
Literally nothing to like about Julian in this at all.
Man, that is so...
I am, like, convinced this book is the bane of our existence, friends.
That is very compelling evidence. Okay, so a couple of pieces of feedback on this book and actually one on the last book too. Actually two from the last book. We were talking about the finish of Blackwood Farm, and first of all, Brother Kyle 1068 on YouTube, longtime listener, watcher, and member of our community. We were discussing the end of Blackwood Farm and the conclusion of the character Merrick, and it's sort of very unsatisfying. And what even was Merrick's plan there, and what happened? And we had both sort of ended up chalking it up to just the ennui that a new vampire often finds, and you know, they seek an escape from the possible whatever regret or guilt that they're feeling in those early years, and that's what Merrick did. Brother Kyle points out, I think part of Merrick's plan was to kind of maybe like hitchhike Goblin's soul to heaven. Maybe. I honestly need to reread it, but I don't think that's a bad read at all.
No,
Kyle.
I don't think so either.
That book is so much about well, not just that book, but specifically the book before, Merrick's book, is so much about like the cosmic balance, right? Both she and David commit fairly atrocities at different times in their life, right? But they also have conducted these great goods and sacrificial help to other people that they feel like have outweighed the cosmic scales. And like their balance in the universe is something that I think both of those characters really think about in a way that maybe only Lestat considers otherwise, except Lestat's not the intellectual that they are. Yeah, exactly.
So his is about like, ego. Yeah.
Does Jesus love me or not? And that's all it is. And they're thinking about like big, like what is my impact on human existence and the universe at large, you know?
And furthermore, our entire species, like what is it that our species is doing, you know?
David especially, like what, and in his cataloging of the vampires is like, what do we mean in the ongoing existence of this planet?
Lestat is not Kyle. About the we. I love that, Kyle. That is a good take. I also do think too, like someone like Merrick, who actively has mental health issues.
Yeah.
She was in an active addiction when she was turned. And so, you know, that's just something that I hadn't really considered until we started talking about this, having this conversation, you know, like that's a whole bag of hammers to be carrying through the fucking Immortal universe.
Okay, this comes from Asakapild, I believe is the username. On that same episode, the final episode about Blackwood Farm, at about 14 minutes in, you guys talk about how a lot of vampires have been victims of sex trafficking. I think at that point we're speaking specifically about how the maker of Quinn
Mhm.
was sex trafficked as a mortal, and then Quinn's maker was also sex trafficked as a mortal, and we're like, damn it, Anne, feels like
Yeah.
this is like your one origin story for vampires, and I know historically. Okay, anyway, Asaka Pild says, my main guess is that vampires are predatory creatures. They are naturally drawn to tragedy and choose people, consciously or not, when they are at their most vulnerable. For example, Lestat chooses Louis when he is at his worst. His brother has died, he's suicidal, he's a drunk, he has no companion in the world until Lestat swoops in and transforms him. Similarly, when Armand was being sold through sexual slavery, Marius chose him because he saw a weak little boy in need of help, and Marius just loves to be hero worshipped and admired. Vampiric relationships are draining. One creature becomes stronger at the expense of another. Vampires, whether they want to admit it or not, find their targets at their easiest to exploit. Eventually, if a TVC character experiences enough tragedy, a vampire is bound to find them sooner or later. And boy, it really does seem like that, doesn't it? At least that's my reading. LMAO. Love the podcast. Found you guys in February. I finally caught up with all your book club episodes. Can't wait for what's next. Much love from the UK. Thank you, Asaka Pild. That's a really good note there. And you're right. I think we're reading it from the other side. Why are all the vampires sexually trafficked? But it's like,
well, I feel like right now we're questioning a lot of Anne's choices these days. I mean, I think that that's just kind of where we are mentally right now, and not in a bad way. I think that that's just like, again, we're rereading
this
these
book
books.
will make you do it.
Yeah,
this book will make you do it. This book especially. But Blackwood Farm had its own issues too.
Yeah.
This one just dives right off into the deep end of doing some strange things to so many characters. However, we got a great note about maybe why that you and I had not discussed at all so far. Dawn Nicholas commented on the second part of Blood Canticle. I think Stan Rice's having cancer during this time probably affected her writing. He passed away at the end of 2002. This book came out in 2003. So she was writing this while he was dying.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. You know,
this
Stan
probably seemed really frivolous and unnecessary.
Well, on the one hand, but also, boy, it makes a lot of sense why she might have overcome her issues with the church and tried to refine Jesus, right? Like, Stan was very famously an atheist and devoutly an atheist his entire life, not an agnostic. He did not believe that God existed. Yeah. And sort of not scoffed at. That sounds diminutive. He always thought she was better than her religion, right? Like, you're too smart. And he sort of poked at it intellectually from time to time, not in a dismissive way. I think he knew how ingrained it was in her from her upbringing, but also I think he knew the value that it provided for her at different times in her life. The fact of the matter is, people have faith for a reason. Like it.
Yes.
You know,
I mean,
use the Sinatra quote, I'm for whatever gets you through the night. Yeah, right.
You know, I frequently am jealous of it. I'm like, boy, if I could just lean into a Sky Daddy's arms and feel protected, that's pretty powerful shit, you know? Like, I just,
even if you, so my version of Sky Daddy is pretty hands off and you know, the watchmaker god in a lot of ways, but even that, a fairly firm confidence in the idea that this all came from something, and surely whoever they are have a purpose for it all, and it'll wind up in the end, right? That really does help you get through the day, no doubt about it.
And faith helps so many people deal with grief. I think that that's a natural kind of, you either get pissed and you're like, fuck you, God, or you're like, well, my faith is going to be what gets me through, you know?
Well, that's what even the warring with God. This is something that when I was very devout as a young person, I thought this was important, and I thought people downplayed it. But even when I've been fairly agnostic or deistic at times in my life, I still think this has got to be the way that it is. There's a verse that says, you work out your faith with fear and trembling, right? You work out your salvation with fear and trembling. There's the passage in the Old Testament where the place is called Bethany. I'm trying to think who it was. I think maybe it was Isaac or Israel. I don't know. Anyway, it was one of Abraham's sons, wrestles an angel like an angel comes to him at night and they wrestle and he beats the angel. And because of that, like that's like the next step in his evolution as a church patriarch. Anyway, my point is, if your conception of God is not big enough to argue at or be angry with or disappointed in, then
or to doubt.
That's a tiny little God you got there then. And I would say you should get a better one. So anyway, that good call, Dawn. Thank you for reminding us of that. And I think you're absolutely right. That does have a lot to do with why this book didn't have her interest and why Lestat is contemplating saving the souls of millions, I think, as she's losing the love of her life. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, and it's probably too why there's no like actual kind of resolution with the whole Rowan and Lestat thing. I mean, there's just like, I'll come for you eventually, probably, and it's everything is just left in this kind of gray haven of like nothingness. It's just
so strange.
Like this book just kind of stopped.
Okay.
I'm glad they were able to wrap up everything with Blackwood Farm and like have a good plan for everybody that lives there and all that jazz. And I mean, I guess that's what we wrapped up. I don't know.
That is all of our mortal characters from these last two books get happy endings effectively.
Yeah.
Everybody that's still alive. Two more pieces of feedback and then we'll get to the book proper because I do have quite a few things to say about this section. First of all, this is from Dozy Welt, it looks like, on YouTube as well. Lestat knows that his fledglings are not good. We were joking about how none of his fledglings work out. Slight spoiler alert. And this is where you heard Marius and Pandora mentioned, by the way, in the comments. Slight spoiler alert. That's why he has Marius and Pandora turn his children in the Prince Lestat trilogy. So you're like,
see, that's not the same one I read.
Children? Oh, okay. Well,
that's not the
slight
same
spoiler.
One I read.
We're not going to get any more specifics than that if you haven't read the books, like Ashley hasn't. But yes, Lestat has an opportunity to turn two people that he loves very much in the next series, and he does not choose to do so. He has others do it. And I think that Dozy Welt is right there. Even Lestat acknowledges that he's not the best daddy, actually. He's a very strong daddy, but that don't make him the best.
No. And you've got strong friends too, so you can kind of call in a pinch hitter,
Okay, and then finally, this was on, I saw it on Threads. I think it was originally from Threads, but maybe it was on X. At Vamp Chronicles _ is the person who posted this. And there is a series of images from the Interview with the Vampire TV show. But here's the point that they're making. Every time I rewatch the show, I like to think that Bailey Claudia is how Daniel first pictured Claudia when he started reading her diaries. Then Delaney Claudia is her real appearance, which Daniel finally saw when Rashid brought him a photo that Louis had taken of her. That's a beautiful, right?
That's a lovely justification of a casting change there.
What a lovely in-universe justification for a casting change. And I'm just going to make that headcanon now. I love that. So, all right. Thank you guys for all of that feedback. Thanks to everybody, by the way.
You're so smart and interesting. You guys have the best thoughts. God, I love talking with everybody. So great.
Genuinely. So even when we don't read them on the show, especially some of the longer ongoing conversations we have in the Facebook group, thank you. We do read that stuff.
And we're creeping. We're always there.
Yeah.
We're like the Talamasca. We watch and we are always there.
And are always there. Oh, and Talamasca is so close, Ashley.
It's so close, Joel.
It's so close.
So excited.
I'm very excited. We'll be covering that week to week, by the way, starting on October 26th. That's the debut. And that'll carry us all the way through, I think, November. It's a 6-episode series anyway for season 1 at least.
You think they're going to do a Skippy week in there just to piss us all off? I'm sure they will.
I actually don't think they are. I was looking at the calendar.
Really?
Because I set up our calendar, I don't know, last week, going all the way into Christmas and New Year's. And I don't think if you run it 6 weeks straight, it's very convenient where it breaks as far as for the holidays and the move forward. It's like the first week of November, you're done with, or not the first week of November, it's the last week of November, I think, that you're done with Talamasca then basically. So anyway, it seemed like a clean place to go. You've got 4 weeks to the holidays and they can run some other things and then get ready for what we hope is an early spring launch for the Vampire Lestat.
I'm hearing April.
Yeah, I think that's when it's going to be, unless something falls apart between here and there. I think that's what they've got penciled in.
That's the kind of that's the rumor mill anyway.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this book.
All right,
the final part here. Jasmine has been haunted by Patsy's ghost.
Oh, Patsy.
This is where I start. I was so shocked by this idea, although not, again, like, first of all, we know that ghosts exist in this universe. We've already met lots of them. But very specifically, we know that Blackwood Farm seems to have an energy that makes a tragic ending more likely to result in a haunting, right?
Right.
So the fact that Patsy got choked to death by her baby boy, whether
Who
she might have deserved it or not, right? Makes sense she was coming around. Shame that Jasmine's getting the brunt end of it, though.
Right. Yeah, right. That is really shitty. That's rude is what it is, but here we are with rude-ass Patsy's ghost, because Patsy's rude.
In an ongoing theme of this novel especially, but the last novel a little bit too, Anne, completely colorblind here, says, I know Jasmine and Big Ramona can't handle this house, and none of the men even deserve to be mentioned by name, basically. We're going to put Nash in charge of this house, Ashley. He's going to run Blackwood Farm, and Jasmine and Big Ramona are just so thankful that they got a white man to take care of things, aren't they? Like, oh my God.
The educated white man coming to the rescue.
I mean, good for... Look, I like Nash. He seems like a nice character.
He's a great character.
But it was, again...
so unnecessary.
Like, this whole thing is just like big house mentality from top to bottom.
You gave him an overseer? Is that what you did?
Yeah, right?
Christ.
Well, Lord, Master Nash. Okay, every now and then I expect to be treated like the supernatural hero I am.
Oh, so funny.
Okay, Lestat's a priest now, I guess, and exercises Patsy's... He literally, like, begins to pray and lays his hands on him and casts out Patsy's ghost, Ashley.
This is just... so strange. Because we had to get Merrick. We had to get Merrick to do the magic to get rid of Goblin.
Like
in the last book, we had to get someone who has magic. Not that Lestat doesn't have magic, but he's not a fucking witch. Is he a witch now? What's happening?
No. Also, again, and I mean, I don't think it's Rollins' plan ever to get to this point, to be very frank, but Rollin Jones, the way that he's written Lestat in the first couple of seasons of this show so far, I think about that moment at the table where Paul asks him if he knows Christ, and he's like, I am very far from your Christ who left me rotting. I'm like, yeah, okay. I can't imagine that guy saying the last rites and casting out ghosts with the, sign of the cross or anything.
This again feels a little out of nowhere. Yeah. Like, we didn't need to even, if he can do this, then why couldn't he deal with Goblin? Why didn't he even try? That didn't even, like...
Just call Father Kevin Mayfair is my point, though. Like, just call
you got
Father
an actual
Kevin.
priest. You got a priest.
He's handy. He knows all about y'all.
And he's pretty.
Of course, promptly once he does this and saves the farm from another ghouly ghosty, he takes over Queen's bedroom.
Yes. Moves himself right into the suite.
And everybody's just like, well, of course you should.
Yes. I mean, it's a nice bedroom.
I love the idea of this incredibly eccentric blonde Frenchman just wandering into this North Louisiana home.
My God.
Just making it his own. Basically,
I mean, that is a very Lestat thing to do, to be honest. Like, that does not feel out of character.
My feet looked rather small for the 21st century, but 6 feet was still a good height.
Still a good height. I highlighted that for damn sure and laughed out loud. I mean, I literally laughed out loud reading that.
Mona comes and apologizes to Lestat for being bratty, and then makes him feel bad by making him draw the comparison between her and Claudia. I kind of like that moment where he puts, I do make child vampires, don't I?
I do suck at this. Yeah. Not a good daddy.
Okay, probably my favorite moment in this entire book. Maharet emails Lestat, but she knows he's too dumb to read an email. So she emails the Talamasca and says, please print this and take it to Lestat.
Also, Maharet, I'm like, you could just telepathically communicate. You really don't have to send an email. But it's like, oh, this is how we communicate now. We send emails. You want a paper trail? Is that what you want? Because that's how you get a paper trail.
Right. Okay, so
I mean, I do love to see them embracing modern technology. Anytime that happens, I think it's really funny, and I do love it. But like, that just seems so unnecessary.
Well,
I guess it gave her a way to connect Maharet with Mona and Quinn separately.
I think that's really what it's about.
Yeah, yes. It was kind of
she was running an end around in case Lestat was going to be pissy and not hook up his fledglings and be like, listen, they need someone who can train them how to be people. Yeah. So what Maharet tells him, though, he's been praying for Maharet's help. He's like, I need to know about these tall people and where they are. I'm trying to find them. You know, my fledgling is in distress about it, blah, blah, blah. And so she's like, okay, asshole. Yes, I've heard you. Here's where they are. You don't want to do this, Lestat. Like, you just want to leave this alone.
This isn't
for you.
Messy.
But I do like the fact that she doesn't tell him not to do it, or or threaten him if he does or anything. Like she gives him the information, gives him good advice, and then like, it's not my corner of the world. Like, do what you want to do. I guess
they're not going to put him back in the hair chains over this, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So I do appreciate that, but so Lestat's like, okay, what is our situation? First of all, the tall people do still exist. The Taltos are still around, or some of them at least. They're on an island. And it seems to be that there's some sort of cartel operation happening out of this island.
Overrun by a drug cartel.
Yeah. And so
I was like, when did this book become Die Hard?
Right. So Lestat's like, okay, we're going to have to make a raid on this island and figure out who's there and if any of them are still alive and if they're the ones doing this or if they're being controlled or whatever. So basically, he's going to Jack Bauer it. And so he starts testing the team, especially Mona. He's like, I don't know how powerful Mona is. Let's give her a training round. So we do a little montage where we figure out exactly what she can handle. And it turns out she's pretty badass. She can fly. She can burn things.
Yeah.
She's very strong. You know, she's all set. Okay. So Quinn is at one point giving a little pushback to the idea that they're just going to run in here and destroy this island.
Shouldn't we have a plan? Should we have a plan? Yeah. Maybe
that's like, come on, little brother, get in on the action. Yeah. We're on the moral high ground. And again, fucking Anne. You and I reacted to a bunch of Anne, Charlie Rose interviews. Anne Rice interviews with Charlie Rose, and in one of them, she talks about how she has daydreams of murdering drug dealers, like drug kingpins or whatever.
Yes, and this is where she fucking.
It's not the only place she does it. Lestat has a real Jones for the cartel. Actually,
really,
he's like, ooh, Scarface was an evil motherfucker. I can eat his face and not mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, do not feel bad about that one at all.
Well, isn't Dora's father? Isn't he involved in drug cartel stuff in Nimnock?
He's an importer, but what he's importing is statues mostly filled with drugs. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's even, I think in that one specifically, he even uses Dora sometimes as like a cover or a front, as in he's bringing something for her, but really he's bringing in a shipment of some sort.
Right.
So again, we know Anne's stance on the war on drugs, at least.
Yeah, she's got strong opinion.
She was real Reagan in her conviction for the war on drugs.
I don't think she's someone who believes in harm reduction.
No, not really. She's like, kill them all, let God sort them out.
God bless.
So they're going to make a raid, and they do. They do a pretty success. First of all, none of these dudes are ready for supernatural beings, which I think is funny since they are literally dealing with some. Like, they're all on this island with the Taltos, and yet,
and they're just pretending like these fucking 7-foot tall women are normal.
7-foot tall women that have babies that become adults in moments, right? Like, I mean, like, yeah, I don't know. The whole situation is, I mean, it's weird that they are so unprepared for vampires is what I'm saying, I guess. I don't know. Struck me as odd. So what's been going on this island? We meet Oberon and the secret people, as he refers to them. Oberon is this 7-foot tall techie who's chained to a desk and running computers for the drug cartel. He's been doing their books. He's been doing a bunch of stuff. So he tells them the story pretty quickly, although he is pissy and mean about it the whole time. He does not care. Yeah, he's got a bad attitude, man.
I'd have a bad attitude in this scenario too. Like,
I might
not be enjoying my time in IT.
I mean, also though, what does he think these? I mean, he knows they're vampires too. When they show up, he doesn't call them vampires. He calls them blood children, I think.
Yeah.
But he knows about them. He knows what they are, and that he tells them, by the way, you're not going to like the way I taste if you drink me.
Yeah, I don't think you want any of this. And they're like, no, I actually don't think I want any of that.
So Papa and Mona's daughter. So okay, we've got Ash, and who is Mona's daughter's name?
Morgan.
Morgan was the first one. Yes, Morgan and Ash really did begin to live out their little Taltos utopia for a while, at least. But they were overthrown by horny brothers, Ashley.
If you want to fuck your sister, you're probably going to get into some family problems. Did we learn nothing from the Game of Thrones?
Indeed. I mean, well, again, this was sort of short-sighted of Ash. Yeah. I feel like you should have known better. You know the way that Taltos are,
right? Everyone,
of course, there's going to be secret breeding. Of course, there's going to be then infighting and deal making. Because somebody else wants to be in charge. Yeah.
And what if somebody runs across a human and fucks them to death, as they do, then you're dealing with legal ramifications potentially. Granted, I know that they're supposed to be out in the middle of God's nowhere on this island, but the fucking drug cartel showed up.
Well, but they were coming and going though.
Oberon they were traveling.
They traveled. They saw the world.
They were having a good old time.
But it seems like they had 4 or 5 years of pleasantness before it actually started to fall apart, which is pretty impressive when you think about it. But that also. Yeah. But I mean, I guess it makes sense if you think about how old Mona is in Lasher and then how old she is now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what happened there. There were several years in there. So there were about 4 or 5 good years, and then there's 2 or 3 since then where things have gone to hell in not just one way, but multiple ways things have gone badly. Yeah. So the first thing we get is a coup. We've got an evil brother who takes things over and
slowly poisoning mom and dad.
Yeah. And then we get the cartel comes in and takes over these largely docile and naive Taltos, kills everybody who's a problem, has Oberon locked up and put to work because he's not a fighter, and then keeps a couple of the girls for, playthings, so to speak. I mean, okay, so when a male human has sex with a female Taltos, they basically have a brief period almost immediately, and then that's it. There's no baby, there's no problem, it's not a big deal. Yeah. When a male Taltos has sex with a female human, generally they die from it. They hemorrhage until death.
Fun stuff. So, in a country with no health care for women.
Okay, but you think about it, it's like, I don't know, that Venezuelan volleyball player that you were in love with in college? Well, friend, you could have all the sex you want with her and it's no problem for her, and also her milk heals your wounds, and anyway,
works out pretty well for the boys.
That's what I'm saying. I understand why the drug kingpin wants to keep him around, is my point, actually. Yeah. It makes sense for the pirates.
Oh, for sure. Well, and I mean, you got one that's working that side too, so it's just leading into it.
So Oberon is good at computers, and he says he makes a very nice cocktail. So that's why they kept him around.
Yes.
And then he became the boy toy of Lucia, the mother of the main drug kingpin. And you think, now, wait a minute, Joel, you just said it's a problem for male Taltos and female humans. Not if she's postmenopausal.
She old.
It's not a problem.
And she got herself a vag lift.
I love the fact that they put this in the novel. She's like, I went and got it tight as a drum, baby boy. Don't even worry about it.
Tight as a 12-year-old, I believe, was the actual fucking comment.
I didn't want to repeat it, Ashley. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, you know I'm gonna.
Yeah. Anyway, Lucia is a real
piece of work.
Okay. Saint Juan Diego returns here. Yes. As it turns out, Oberon was in love with a statue in this chapel that he had come across. And so he has purchased this statue that reportedly is part of a miracle that Saint Juan Diego was responsible for. So Lestat is shocked at first at the coincidence and takes it. But then Oberon explains, he's like, no, hey, that's mine.
That's
actually.
Mine. Don't take my shit.
And so Lestat does bring it back to him at the end, which I was happy to see. But I thought, that's so weird. She mentions this random saint early in the novel, kind of offhandedly.
And then we have a statue.
Literally, I've got a statue of him. Don't even worry about it.
It was Chekhov's saint. He had to come back around.
Man, just a fucking tragic end for the Taltos, though. Like,
awful. Really
and Morgan,
awful.
They weren't running away. They weren't trying to get away from from the Mayfairs, or hide from Rowan.
No, they just
got hijacked.
Exist. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Got taken over by their children and then the drug cartel. It's such a boo.
And they
so
just
the
put
big
them
boss
in a walk-in freezer.
Yeah, right. The big boss is finally confronted, and I think I said earlier that the moment where Maharet emails was my favorite moment. This one might be my favorite moment. So he is all very proud of himself. He's confronting Lestat, and he's like, oh, you motherfucker, they're getting off the island because they got a helicopter, et cetera, and you're too late, you son of a bitch. I'm going to blow you up and blah, blah, blah. And Lestat's like, that helicopter? And blows the helicopter up with the fire gift with his mind.
Because it's Die Hard.
Yeah, yes. I love it.
Yeah, I actually did really enjoy that. It made me, I was very happy.
So here's where we meet Lorcan, who was working with Rodrigo by choice, apparently. And they all hate her. She's toting an AK-47 when she shows up.
Yeah.
And Oberon is gonna shoot her and has to be restrained. But they're like, no, we're not gonna kill her. She's gonna be Rowan's problem.
Yeah.
So
Rowan doesn't have enough fucking problems.
Yeah, right. But they make Lorcan take her upstairs. They're like, show us mother and father. Yep, Morgan and Ashler are still there. They're just frozen upstairs, Ashley. What the fuck?
Yep, walk-in freezer. If you want to keep something safe and secure, walk-in freezer.
So Lestat calls Rowan, basically, and is like, hey, you should come to this island.
There's some crazy shit happening.
Yeah. Fills her in. So Mona is super pissed at Rowan when she shows up. Rowan is very focused. She wants the samples. She wants specimens. She's going to lock up Mirabelle and Oberon. Everyone is trying to explain how it's just not true. Mona's overreacting. But at the same time, Rowan is collecting those fucking samples, isn't she? She is going to lock up Lorcan, at least, for sure. She is going to take Mirabelle and Oberon to the hospital, for sure.
Yeah. Well, but Mona just hates Rowan so much. Anything she does, she's going to be contrary about, like it doesn't matter because she's having like a teenager's reaction to like essentially a mother figure. It's like, I'm going to wear this slutty outfit out and I don't care what you think, and like, I mean, fuck, she literally does that in this book.
Literally does it. She's got Rowan derangement syndrome, Ashley.
Yeah, she does. She does. She really does, Joel. It's real. It's real.
Okay, so Lestat explains that Rowan was very tempted by Ash Templeton in New York. Rowan, of course, at this point in the books, also cannot have children anymore.
Right.
She's been sterilized. And so she's like, I could just hump this Taltos for the rest of my life. And he's brilliant and he's centuries old and he could tell me everything that I want to know and blah, blah, blah. But she could never leave Michael. She says she's just too in love with Michael, couldn't have done it. And so Lestat's explaining this to the crew, basically. But really, you're like, oh, Oh, Lestat's trying to explain to Mona why she doesn't need to worry about him and Rowan. Yeah, this is not a story about Ashlar. This is a story about me. Yeah. Mona dreams of starting a Mayfair radio station. She's like, wouldn't it be great to have Michael on for a show?
So, like, here's the thing. Really, what she wants is a podcast, Joel.
It's so funny, and she even asked, she's like, but how do real vampires connect on the World Wide Web? And they're like, we don't, Mona. We're vampires. We live secretly.
Website, right? MonaTheVampire.com.
It's funny, though. She finally suggests we should have a vampire radio station, actually. And we sort of get that with Armand's fledgling Benjamin at a later date, I believe, which is interesting. He has like I think Anne even eventually called it a podcast in one of the later books. Anyway,
Amazing.
He sends out transmissions of some sort. Okay. Rowan kind of lets go once she brings in Lorcan, and everybody's like, uh-oh, what are you going to do? She says, I do not intend to be mercilessly questioned. As she begins to tell them what Lorcan's side of this was. Okay. Lorcan was a double agent, effectively.
Love it.
Lorcan was
I did like this turn.
Stealing money and info from Rodrigo the whole time. She was using what she had at her availability, right?
Yeah,
I mean, genuinely,
what she had
Ashley,
at her disposal.
How many women have closed their eyes and done it for the queen, so to speak,
I mean,
to get through a terrible moment, all the while looking for their angle out of the terrible situation that they're in.
And not just to get herself out of it, but to get all of them out of it too. Like,
to save the species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her family, that's her
Yes.
fucking siblings too. I mean, that's.
Yeah. Okay. So Mirabelle and Oberon are telling everybody that they've decided they're just going to live at Mayfair, actually.
Well, hey, look, listen, it doesn't sound that bad. There's nice apartments. There's a great restaurant. Healthcare appears to be provided, which is booyah.
Mirabelle says, I think it's a lovely idea, and we can wear nightgowns all the time.
My God.
At least I can. I love nightgowns.
Well, as I'm sitting here in my soft pants, I cannot disagree with Mirabelle. Let's all wear our soft pants.
I don't know exactly where Mayfair Medical is supposed to be in this fictional version of New Orleans, but when I was a child, I went on a New Orleans trip to the Hyatt Regency downtown. It had only been open for a few years, and the Hyatt Regency was connected directly to the New Orleans Center, and through the New Orleans Center, which is like an underground mall, to the basketball arena. It's connected to where the Pelicans play now. Okay. I went to this hotel, this beautiful hotel, which you could take the elevator all the way down, and suddenly you were in a mall with a food court and a Walgreens and and clothing stores and whatever. And I said to myself, someday I will live in the Hyatt Regency in downtown New Orleans, and I'll have my room cleaned every day and my bed made up for me. And when I need to go down to buy things, I can go right downstairs in the elevator.
Straight downstairs.
And unless I want to go outside into the New Orleans heat, I won't even have to ever go outside. So yes, I am with Mirabelle and Oberon. I would have moved into Mayfair Medical too, I think.
Hook me up with a free apartment. Rowan.
So all three of them are going to live there. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They've got like apartments basically that are connected to the thing for families to be. It's like a Ronald McDonald House style thing, right? So they're going to put them up in an apartment or two, and they're going to be able to come and go on the grounds. Hell, they're going to be able to find them a contraceptive they can use so they won't immediately overpopulate the earth. You know,
they're going to be able
is going to be great.
Get education. One of them wants to be a doctor. Like, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's let these tall motherfuckers have a good life.
And they've got a lot of money, like the money that Lorcan had squirreled out, but also like Ashlar hadn't left everything on the island. Exactly. Yeah. Like they got plenty of wealth outside the Mayfairs even. So, but also the Mayfair's got enough money. It'll never be a problem. This is a happy ending for these three Taltos.
Absolutely. And their parents, like Ashlar saw it coming. So he was able to make sure everything was set up and everything is like being funneled through Mayfair too. So it's like everybody's taken care of. There's trust set up. Like They really are. They really do get a happy ending, which is nice because God.
Their happy ending, however, immediately depresses Lestat because he realizes he's got no reason to keep talking to Rowan.
Right, yeah. He's like, oh, bummer.
It's like, oh no. And we get sad stat. He's very depressed. He's very sad to have to leave his lady love.
That he met 2 days ago.
He says, here's his little poetry for her. We are not Taltos. We are not innocent. We do not belong on God's holy mountain. Oh God.
This was so maudlin. And I just like, again, where did this infatuation come from?
The Queen of the Damned here in our little circle, our top and first patron, Nancy Ward.
Nancy, mwah!
When she was first discussing this book, when we were leading up to discussing it, she made the statement, anytime Lestat has a female love interest in the books, it makes her jealous in a way that his various male love interests never bother her at all.
Yeah,
so
that
it's
might
not
be.
like, it's not just that she's for Lestat, right? It's any male interest is fine.
Right.
None of the female interests are. And I so feel that with this book in particular. I've never begrudged him the Doras in the past for some reason. First of all, those all felt like projects, right? Lestat loves to save a hoe. Lestat loves
he is
to
Captain Save a Hoe, yeah.
Yes, right. Like Lestat loves to swoop in and save someone.
Yes.
And all of those felt almost more paternal, like creepy old rich uncle who may squeeze your boob rather than an actual ongoing relationship, right?
Yes. Yes. Well, they end very quickly, too. He's not just sitting around
knows. He knows that's not where his affection is, I think. Whereas here, he's pretending, at least in his dialogue, he is pretending that this affection and relationship with Rowan is as deep as Nikki or Louis,
which is insane to me.
It's just not true. Like, it's just not real. We just know that it's not real. It's so weird to read it.
And this version of Rowan is, I understand why people don't like her. I mean, like, I loved Rowan in the
100%.
Mayfair trilogy. This is not a Rowan. She's barely recognizable, which again, this has got to be the book. This is the problem.
So when Lestat wakes up the next morning, or the next night, I should say, Julian's waiting on him. And Lestat is done with Julian's shit. He just he's like, you know what? You failed your family. Do you know
you
that
suck.
Actually?
Yeah. You caused more problems. You are the problem.
You engineered a bloodline through which the women would all kill themselves in childbirth or result in these horrible mutations. Like, you are the reason why Mona and Rowan are the way they are. I didn't do this shit, old man. Like, Lestat lets him have it. Yeah, yeah. It's hilarious to me how Lestat has just moved into Blackwood Farm and all the humans are fine with it. Tommy's left him a note of thanks on his way to boarding school. Like, I love you, Uncle Lestat. Yeah.
I mean, he does have an allure. Let's not act like if he wanted to move into our houses, we wouldn't be like, oh, here's the extra bedroom.
I believe the phrase is, wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating crackers.
Exactly.
Yeah, good call. Okay.
You change his sheets. Don't act like you wouldn't.
Change the sheets. Change this. You more velvet, Lestat? Yes, of course. Where did Mona and Quinn go? Ashley, Mona and Quinn aren't at the house. Where did they go?
They've gone on an adventure to see Aunt Maharet.
Man, okay. I would have paid money, and I would love to see this. In my head, I was seeing the version of Cayman that we got in the Queen of the Damned film.
Yes, Cayman came and got them. That's right. I forgot that's what happened.
Like Cayman is... First of all, Cayman is literally... He's as old as they get as far as vampires go. And for several thousands of years, he just slept under the earth.
Yeah.
So, like, he's forgotten most of his past several different times in history, who he was.
I feel like he should always look a little dirty. Like, he's always going to look a little dusty, a little, like,
in Queen of the Damned, he looks effectively like a mummy that's sort of like mostly got his skin back, That's the Cayman that I imagine showed up. He was like, it's like It's like Lurch from the Addams Family,
right.
but
That
with
kind of
rags
sunken,
on. Yes.
sunken face and like very intense.
Yeah.
That's who you
So
said
Kamen
you're...
came to get him and brought him to Maharet. He came to get Quinn and Mona for their education. What finer teacher could they have in all the world than Maharet? At least Lestat gets it. Yes,
Yeah.
okay, that's a good idea for them.
Yeah, and maybe I can't really handle these two. I don't know. Maybe I should admit that I can't keep these two under control.
So at this point, I look down at my Audible app and I think there's like maybe 40 minutes left or something. And I'm like, what's going on with Rowan? Like, he turns Rowan in this book, doesn't he? Don't they end up together in this book? Isn't that what everybody's mad about? That's what I remember. How are they going to do that in 30 minutes? First of all, it doesn't go like I remember it. No,
that's not how it happens.
But I do love that right there. Lestat says, "This book's finished. You know it. I know it. After all, what more is there to say?" And I'm
We're
like,
pretty
yes,
done.
yes, Lestat, let's go ahead and wrap it up right there, why don't we?
And yet there's 40 minutes left.
Actually, Lestat says he doesn't need the blood, but he often wants it badly. The needle of my hunger plunged into heated hatefulness. That's how he describes going out and hunting. And then he finally comes back to Blackwood Farm to sleep, and Rowan is there waiting on him out by the old house or whatever. Okay, first of all, I was very proud of Anne that she doesn't once in this exchange use the phrase "he grabbed her sex" or "touched her sex" or something like that. Her sex is very often used in these books. Instead, Lestat touches her privy parts.
Her
Ashley,
privy parts. Her privy parts. Ew.
Okay.
Ew.
I do want to say here though, we always have these conversations about sexuality, physical sexuality for the vampires in the books. And yes, it is true there's not a whole lot of intercourse in the books. But here is a this man gives her manual release on this hillside out at the farm.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
No blood involved in that except the heartbeat blood. Yeah.
Yep.
Look,
who doesn't like to get fingered by a lovely oak tree?
I got news for you. There's not a hillside in North Louisiana that I would want to roll around with my privy parts out. All right? I've done it before, Ashley.
There's chiggers.
It's not just chiggers. The sheer humidity is the problem, frankly, down here. You got to catch moss or
mosquitoes.
Something. Yeah, like it's mold down there. Like, you don't want it, friends.
You're going to get trench vagina.
Yeah. Rowan says, "Give me that blood, boy. I want it. Make me what you are." She says, "The certain witness of eternity I read in you." That's what she says she wants most from Lestat. The certain witness of eternity that I read in you. Okay. Also, to be charitable, I will hang on just a second. To be charitable for this Rowan, what this Rowan is asking for here, and the read that you can give it if you want to see this make sense for Anne at this moment. She is looking for a way out, right? She's responsible for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And Lestat is her ticket out.
Mm-hmm.
She says, look, Mayfair's got all the money that they need. Oberon and a couple of my assistants, maybe I visit them a few more times and give them a little bit of information more. They can run this thing without me. I can just get my fucking vacation and retirement. And it sort of reminds me almost of like, at the end of Lord of the Rings, Frodo's got to go off into the west with the elves because it's like he's been touched by too much of the magic.
Hard.
Yes, he can't just die like a mortal can. He's got to go off into the west. This is Rowan saying, I've been touched by too much of this preternatural shit.
Yeah.
I need out. Michael needs to be free too. That's the other thing that she says here. Michael should have a family and children and blah, blah, blah.
The flip side for me though is that like I feel like Rowan would rather just die than have to be around forever. Like that sort of feels more like an exit strategy to me for her than this, because she's going to have to still exist. This bitch goes catatonic like every 6 months. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, I just thought, yeah, lady, you're gonna slit like 3 necks and then you're gonna jump into the fire just like Merrick did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, like, as a doctor, a healer, like, she was always horrified when she did, like, magic that hurt anyone, you know, like, she's a healer. Like, I don't think she'd be okay just fucking going around and killing people the rest of her life.
Believably, Lestat is sober in this moment, though, and
Right?
says no.
Of
Not
all
the time,
things,
Rowan.
don't expect that from
Not the time.
Temperance from Lestat.
Right. Now, he does say there'll come a time when you're ready and you can leave Michael behind. And you're right. He should be free, but not now, not like this.
Yeah. And at this point, he knows Mayfair Medical can't really get where it needs to be without her. If she leaves, they're going to lose all their momentum.
Yeah, which I don't know that that's in 100% true, particularly because she had already brought in her cousin, who's also like a super ambitious doctor, right? Like there are people in place that could make this thing run. But for whatever reason, Lestat backs out. No, I love you, but I'm just going to have to love you from afar.
Yeah.
And he makes it clear, like, this is going to be the end of our relationship until then, because you and I aren't strong enough willed to say no more than once, right? So Stella comes to see Lestat this time because Julian's scared of him now.
Yes, Julian's not fucking with him anymore.
But Stella is all grown up now. She's not appearing as a little girl, and she says, "Thank you for leaving Rowan alive."
Yes.
And then this is so, again, we want to talk about shitty Rowan in this book. This is shitty Lestat. Even in grief and loss, I possessed Rowan. She would be in my heart forever. Ugh. Ugh. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't even mention her in these next fucking books.
Literally
by the way.
about to say. I was about to ask, how often does Rowan's name come up in his longing?
I mean, we've already talked about Mona and Quinn get like one sentence supposition from somebody of what happened to them in one of these upcoming books. So yeah, the Mayfairs do not play a part in the next series at all, really. Anyway, Lestat goes back to his reverie about what he wants to be. I want to be a saint. I want to save souls by the millions. But, come sunset, maybe it'll be time to hunt the back roads. Okay. Decent conclusion to it, I guess. Would not have been a happy conclusion to the series if this was what we got. And overall, this is probably my least favorite of the entire series.
Yeah.
Been a long time since I read Vittorio. Maybe that one's worse.
Yeah, Vittorio may be worse, but this one is tops of my worst, tops of my least.
Yeah, this is not going to be an A-tier book if we do tier rankings, folks. This one's a bad one. Okay, I wanted to mention one thing that I haven't mentioned at all before we kind of wrap up this episode and this book, thank goodness. Lestat quotes several times in this book from the Song of Solomon. Did you notice that?
No.
There's the line, I'm gonna is my sister cloistered or something like that. What is the line? Song of Solomon. You have ravished my heart. You have ravished my heart, my sister, my spouse. You have ravished my heart with one look of your eyes, with one link of your necklace. With one link of your necklace. How fair is your love, my sister, my spouse. Okay, I knew he says it several times, some version of my sister, my bride, my sister, my spouse, my sister, my lover, whatever. And he's referring to Rowan every time that he does that in the book. But that is very much, I was like, I know that's a Song of Solomon thing. Okay.
Yeah, I would have not ever picked that up.
If you are not familiar with the Song of Songs or the Song of Solomon, it's also called the Canticle of Canticles. It's a biblical poem. It's one of the 5 scrolls in the Ketuvim, the writings. It's the last section of the Tanakh. Unlike the other books in the Hebrew Bible, it is erotic poetry. And I'm telling you, there's some good shit in there. If you've never read the Song of Solomon, it's actually pretty solid. I don't know how historical this is, but the idea traditionally is that it is a book written, it's poetry written mostly by Solomon to his lover. And then, of course, that also got tied up with the idea that he was in a relationship with the Queen of Persia at one point. So, like, these two people are unmarried. These two lovers in this book are unmarried, though. And it is funny to me, coming from an evangelical background, as I do, the Song of Solomon is like really focused on a lot in evangelical culture as an example of like marital love and how romantic love is supposed to be. But it's so humorous, and it always has been, that it's erotic poetry from an unmarried couple, but it's always used to like preach this purity culture.
That's weird.
Romanticism. Anyway, strange that Anne would use it a lot in this book, but not really when you think about where her headspace was and whatever else that Lestat is up to. So it's a weird one.
So I had forgotten about this happening, but this book got really some really harsh reviews when it came out.
Oh.
And on Amazon in particular, Anne wrote a response to that. And like went the fuck off. Yes. I'll send you the link to it, Joel, so you can put it in the thing. But she like,
please.
She's like, it's like a rant where she's just like explaining like what's going on, how much she hates Amazon reviews. And then towards the end, she gives her email address and her home address and says, if you want your money back for the book, send it to 1239 First Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70130. I'm not a coward about my real name or where I live. And yes, the chronicles are no more. Thank God.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I do remember being mad at her for coming out and being so gleeful about leaving the vampires and the witches behind. The way that, and I don't know, honestly, in retrospect, how much of that was her actual words and how much of that was what the news headlines did with her words, right?
Well, I mean, she said that her damn self right there.
Yeah, thank God they're over. You're right. That came straight from the horse's mouth. And I mean, to be fair, like she literally dedicated herself to the Christian church for a while, in that she wrote the 2 Jesus books in this period. She wrote 2 angel books as well in a theoretical series. Before, and even once she returned to the occult, she didn't start writing the vampires first. She wrote the werewolf books first, right? Didn't she go there? I think that's where she went. I think she did the Wolf Gift.
Yeah, I don't remember the publication order of that stuff.
Yeah, I think she did the Wolf Gift after Songs of the Seraphim and before she did the Prince Lestat trilogy. Anyway, fascinating to look at, and we will put that link in the show notes so you all can read her vitriol. Not surprising based on how she told us all off about Memnoch the Devil at the beginning of this one, right?
Well, she goes off about Memnoch in there briefly too. The like the headline,
you troglodytes don't understand what I'm trying to get
so at. Pissed. And Rice is furious is what it says. Oh, so funny.
Okay. If you are planning on joining us in New Orleans for Anne's celebration of life, speaking of this brassy
getting
old
so
broad,
close.
It's just around the corner, y'all. End of October, we're going to be there. November 1st is the event itself. There's info in the show notes for a block of rooms we have at the Sheraton in New Orleans on Canal Street, but there is a deadline for booking those rooms. So if you're interested in doing that, make sure you go ahead and book right away. We're going to be doing some cocktail hours, hanging out with folks. We're going to do a vampire tour with Rose Sinister while we're there, and then we're going to do a live recording on our balcony that we'll stream to everybody on Sunday afternoon. So lots of fun for everybody that weekend. If you can be in New Orleans with us, we'd love for you to do so. Make sure you go ahead and get your hotel reservations. What else? Lots of fun stuff coming up. We've got one more movie night lined up for next week with Teen Witch. And then we've got a few topic episodes before we get to Talamasca. We're going to do our special episode with Rose Sinister. We're going to do Anne's bio. We're going to do an episode about other vampire fiction that we like, and we're going to do some rankings of the vampires. All of that stuff's in the show notes as well with the schedule. Check it out. And don't forget, if you're in a position to do so, we'd love you to have us over at articulatecoven.com/join. $2 or more a month gets you access to everything we do early and ad-free. I don't think I've mentioned this on the show, but I will now. If you're interested in signing up as a patron, there are options now where you can sign up for like an annual membership instead of doing it month to month, and you get a discount too. Yeah, so you effectively get like a month and a half or 2 months off basically if you sign up at whatever level you sign up at. So go check that out, all at articulatecoven.com/join. Boy, I'm glad to be done with this book, Ashley.
We didn't drag it out for 5 episodes.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad we didn't make this. Real quick before we wrap up, I want to mention 2 good things that I'm watching, reading, and then I want to get yours if you've got some good ones too. I've mentioned this already. Alien Earth is over on FX and Hulu.
Yes,
it's really,
I need to start
really good.
that.
So good. I think there's 4 episodes out so far, but I haven't mentioned this yet. Recently, TV podcast industries, good friends of the show. They have a great podcast that covers the Marvel stuff, and they've done The Last of Us and the Wheel of Time series and all sorts of great TV. They are covering Alien Earth, and they're doing a great job doing it. Yeah, so
awesome.
Derek O'Neill runs that show, and go check them out. TV Podcast Industries. I'll put a link in the show notes. But the other thing that I wanted to mention, and I just finished it before you and I started recording tonight, Ashley, Dolores Claiborne.
Ooh.
The Stephen King novel. It's an old one. I don't exactly know why I decided to read it now, other than I'm in the middle of the Dark Tower and I wanted to read some Stephen King that's not directly Tower related.
Yeah.
I wanted to go elsewhere for a minute. And my mom had read this one recently and crowed about it. She said, oh, it's really, really good. The audiobook, now I've got to look it up because I forgot the actor's name. Dolores Claiborne audiobook. I got it in the Libby app. And probably your library has it available too. It is narrated by, where is it? Frances Sternhagen.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. She's a wonderful character actress.
Great character actress, but she's so freaking perfect for this role of Dolores Claiborne.
I bet.
And if you've never read the book, it's literally all just in Dolores's voice. She's just telling a story. And so it's so natural to have Frances Sternhagen do the narration. Anyway, brilliant audiobook. It was only like 9 hours long, thoroughly enjoyable story. And especially if you're not into like the cosmic horror side of King, which he does so often, this is just one of those normal, spooky in a few places, but not really. It's just weird shit happens in life kind of books that Stephen King is also so good at. Really, really good book. There anything you reading or watching that you want to mention?
We just watched Thunderbolts finally last night.
Hey,
y'all, it's on HBO Max now. I think it's on something.
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Disney
that's
Plus.
Where. Duh. Yes. Obviously that's where it is. It was so much fun. We had a blast. I loved it. I'm looking forward to what's next.
It didn't do that well at the box office, and I know I don't think Fantastic Four has done that well as well. But I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet still.
I haven't either.
I loved Thunderbolts. I thought Thunderbolts was probably the best film that the MCU has put out since Endgame. Maybe.
Yeah, I had a really good time watching it.
I've enjoyed a bunch of the stuff that they put out since then, but there has not been... Like a lot of the MCU is really only great if you're very embedded in those characters and you are interested in the ongoing narratives and it all means something to you. Whereas some of them are great as standalone films.
Fun.
Even if you don't know who any of these people are.
Just a good
whatever.
superhero
Thunderbolts
movie.
is one of those. It's just a good, well-told story with something to say actually too, surprisingly. So,
and I'm listening to the audiobook of The Green Mile actually, which is fantastic. Yeah, I listened when that book first came out. We got the audiobook and we listened to it on our way to school every day until we got through the whole thing. And so I've been listening to that at night before I go to sleep. It's kind of been my like wind down. And it's such a good read. If you haven't read that or listened to it in a long time, it's really good.
Okay, when he first released that book, he did it as serial novellas.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's how.
Put it out in the little pamphlets.
And that's how the audiobook was done
The audiobook came out that way too?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That is amazing. Okay. I was trying to explain to my son how I had to buy the Green Mile like 5 times.
Yeah, it was episodic. So it was all little short books. It was so much fun. Like that was such a nod to his childhood. That was his whole thing with it. He was
Yes.
like, I really want to kind of do this like homage to like the books of my childhood, the little episodic novels and things. So it's so good. And the audiobook's incredible. I highly recommend if you haven't listened to it.
I have to put that on my list now too. My mom's been trying to get me to do the Mr. Mercedes books. So that's
they're so good,
on
Joel.
my list.
Those are good. They're
She's
really
like, you
good.
gotta read those. You gotta read the Holly books. You gotta do the whole thing. So
yeah.
anyway, I love this is another thing that it's one of the reasons why I tie Stephen King so closely to Anne's work, in that when he falls in love with a character, he often finds them telling him something else that they've done.
Holly has stuck with that man. He is like, she has been on his mind.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
I like the character too. She's great.
There you go. You got a whole list of things that you can read while you're waiting on us to get to the next vampire book, which we'll do. Honestly, we're probably not going to do the Prince Lestat now until after the holidays, as I'm looking at it. So, but in between the holidays and April, we might do a couple of them, y'all. You don't even know. That's right. So, all right. Folks, that has been another great episode. We'll be back next week talking about Teen Witch, the 1980s
so funny
supernatural comedy, silly movie. Again, very different than this book.
Very different than this book, yes.
Sort of like Poltergeist, though, and then it's got a couple of crossover actors. So we'll get to that. All right. Until we talk to you again, we have been your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Thank you for sharing this time with the Articulate Coven. Support the show as either a free or paid member at articulatecoven.com/join. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Find more from the Coven with our sister show, Flan Again, covering the works of Mike Flanagan.